Hello, welcome to yet another amazing client interview. Today we're speaking to Thomas Did. Now, before the accelerator, Thomas self-studied programming. He didn't really even do a computer science degree, and he was doing freelance jobs here and there. He was really struggling to land an amazing full-time software engineering job. And yet through the accelerator, we were able to modify his resume, redo that from scratch, redo his LinkedIn, and what do you know? A recruiter reached out to him, and now he got an amazing software engineering offer. So here's Thomas Did. So Thomas, tell me, I know you joined the program maybe 3 or 4 months ago. So tell me a little bit more about where you were previously, your background, your experience, and what led you to book that initial call.
Yeah, so I think I joined late November, November 19th, 20th to be exact. Back then I didn't have a CS degree. I had like CS background, but I never actually had a CS degree, and I was looking for tech roles. And I decided just to look into using a coach. And I didn't know this going in, but when like you just had so much experience on how to find internships, even when like your high school, like freshman year, you would use jobs that weren't even tech related, but you just format it to put on your resume. And I was like, oh, this guy, he understands how to just like land jobs and try to leverage his skills into a resume to help give him an opportunity just to present himself to companies. So just like doing that kind of like what led me to join the program.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for that background. So Thomas, you mentioned how you didn't do a computer science degree. What was your knowledge? Was it from a boot camp? Was it from self-studying? What was your technical background before the accelerator?
So initially I was a CS degree major, but I just didn't complete it. I switched to a different major. At that time during university, I just couldn't focus. And but the thing is that like I was lucky enough to get internships in tech, and I got exposed to software engineering roles. And so when I was trying to apply to other jobs though, I just felt I had like imposter syndromes because just based on other applicants, you would see like, oh, these other kids have CS field or CS degrees or engineering degrees plus with the internships. So I just had major imposter syndrome. But just following with your advice, it made me realize, okay, that stuff doesn't really matter.
Awesome. Yeah, makes sense. So kind of going into that detail that you mentioned, how did you feel about this process? So what was your current situation? Were you doing freelance? Did you have a job before the program? How many applications did you submit? Did you do any interviews? Just tell me a little bit about your actual software engineering job application experience before the accelerator.
So yeah, I had just one previous engineer internship,
Hmm.
and then I was just doing freelance contract work. Based using the skill I learned from the internship, I was able to get freelance and contract work. When I was trying to apply to actual full-time tech companies, I probably did about 70 to 100 applications, or I would get zero coding interviews. So I never got to that round. So yeah, like my success rate was very low.
Hmm.
And I feel like your course and your plan answering that question, it was very helpful because you basically gave us a call to action with like detailed steps. And for like someone like me who overthinks everything, when you give out like a call to action plan and all I have to do is just follow this, it does take time, but if you put in the time and the effort, because I remember on like even on the resume, like there was so much she wanted like in terms of different parts. So I spent longer than expected because ideally you just said like try to get it done in a week, but I spent 2 to 3 weeks on the resume. But just to make sure like I follow everything you want on the resume guideline. And yeah, it made like drastic improvements for sure. So yeah,
Awesome.
just having like a call to action plan, like
Yeah, that
that's
sounds great.
and you laid that out for us. So
And yeah, Thomas, I remember when I saw your resume, I was super happy. Even before I went through it line by line and by line and gave you my feedback, the
yeah.
fact that you had actually taken the advice and rolled with it and implemented every single step of the way was awesome. And I kind of knew like you were going to get a job. Just the
Okay.
fact that you were willing to actually follow the step by step process. So that was great to hear. Now, before we go into your actual experience in the program, I guess I wanted to close it off here. What motivated you to actually take that next step and invest in yourself? Because I feel like a lot of people they were just like you before. They're still struggling to get a job, but they're like, oh, I'll just keep trying on my own. I'll keep trying on my own. I'll keep trying on my own. So, what kind of mindset or motivation did you have to actually go out there and find an expert to help you achieve that goal?
Honestly, I think it was your your newsletter, because at that time I was subscribed to your newsletter. And I think around that time in November, one of them, you mentioned that um, you had personal fitness goals and specifically for bench pressing, and you hired a personal trainer. So then when I viewed it from that point of view, I was like seeing with my struggles in career, like and just like trying to get a job in general. I was like, oh, maybe I should just look into a career coach because I feel like I do respond better with like one-on-one tutoring or like a actual one-on-one coach who can help just give me things to do. Because it's hard for when you have imposter syndrome, you're always second guessing yourself. But when you have like a coach and they're like, okay, just do these, try it. It worked with other people. It works for myself. Like when you did it for yourself too, like when I realized like, oh, he did this when ever since he was a freshman, I was like, this is how he leveraged to get all these jobs at Shopify and into Amazon and this other stuff. I was like, okay, this guy, he knows how to think outside the box and he's tried, even with like the cold calling and the networking, I realized, okay, this coach is like the perfect one because he's tried as many options and he's done it himself. So
Awesome.
he's not going to tell you to do something that he's not willing to do himself. So just when I like saw that, I was like, okay, I'll buy in. I'll just do everything he says.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds great. That's what I like to hear. Let's talk about your experience in the accelerator. So you mentioned how you found the resume, LinkedIn stuff really helpful. So
Mhm.
as you know, the program is in a couple different parts. We go through your resume line by line by line. We go through your LinkedIn line by line by line. We also help with interview prep. So could you kind of tell me how did you feel like the resume and LinkedIn process was, and was it super helpful to get you that offer?
Yeah, it's just having feedback on optimizing. I never spent time on the resume and feedback and realizing, oh, usually when you do applications, that's like your first impression. So just having that stand out helps probably move forward. And also just you want to just like stuff you said on like the work experience and how to describe your work experience and trying to be concise, but while also conveying a lot in your job. So I think doing that helped a lot. The LinkedIn stuff, just being able to network, cold calling, cold emailing, just just putting the legwork in terms of because I think a lot of us like I had that background or that mindset too when I was doing applications. I was just doing cold applications where you just upload your resume, fill out the forms, and do that. But then you told us to come in with the mindset of like have a sniper mindset, and I think that helps a lot because when you go actively search for referrals or people within the company and try to get them, it does increase your odds better. And I've noticed that like people from, I remember after I optimized my LinkedIn, someone from the boring company reached out to me. And I was like, oh, companies like this usually wouldn't come out and just reach out to me unless I optimized my LinkedIn.
Awesome. So it sounds like you actually saw a meaningful difference there before and after we worked on your resume, after we worked on your LinkedIn. You actually did seem to notice, hey, this does make a difference in terms of people reaching out to you and your application to interview rate at that point.
Yes. And I think it also provides yourself a little bit more self confidence because when you beef up your resume and your LinkedIn, you realize like what you have accomplished and like you're like, okay, these are the things I've done I can speak on. And it kind of reassures you like, okay, maybe you do like have an opportunity to fit in or like have an opportunity to prove yourself that you do deserve this type of role or opportunity that you're applying to.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. Why don't we briefly touch about the other aspects of the program? I'm not sure how much you engaged with that because you ended up getting an offer even with just the resume and LinkedIn help. But did you watch the coding interview modules? Did you do any mock interviews and any thoughts there?
I didn't get to do the mock interviews I wanted to, but we did do. I joined a leak code club because one of the other accelerator program attendees like they put it in the forum to join a club, so we did that. And luckily for my interview, because it was just based on like the Odoo software, they didn't ask like leak code questions. But I think just having that sense of community, like you don't feel alone because we would meet 3 times a week just practicing the Pareto problem set and other problems. And I think just having that, and also like when you're in that community, like with when I was doing the resume, I would watch like your other previous people that you review and give tip, and then like whatever advice you gave them, I would apply it to mine and see like, okay, he told this person to this, or if I can copy this thing that Amon liked a lot from this person and try to implement in mine. So I think just having a pool of resources to gather from and then just implement it into your own situation as best as possible that best suits you helped a lot.
Awesome. Yeah. Love to hear it. Sounds great, man. Let's talk about your offer. So, Thomas, if you're open to it, could you kind of discuss your offer? I know it's like a contract role. So, what's the company? What was the salary? And then how does that compare to your other roles previously?
Yeah, so the company is Core FX Ingredients and they're based out of Illinois. So the contract position was for 3 to 6 months as their Odoo backend developer. And before that, I think, or let's say for like in terms of pay upgrade, my my first software engineering internship was $35 an hour, and this one I was able to negotiate to $45 an hour. And so yeah, I was able to cover whatever the accelerator program was within about 2 weeks. So I thought it was a great investment because yeah, like 2 weeks of 40 hours a week of work basically covers it. It pays it all. So
Mhm. Amazing. That's what I love to hear. I mean, fundamentally, this program is an investment, and I like to think about it as you can invest in the stock market, and you can get like a 10%
yeah,
return, or you can invest in yourself, and within 2 weeks, it already pays the entire thing off. So that's great to hear that
exactly.
you had an awesome success there. So I guess final question, Thomas, what would you say to someone who is just like you 4 months ago? They are struggling, they've submitted some applications, maybe they have a little bit of experience, but they don't have the job that they want, and they're on the fence. They're like, maybe I want to invest in something, maybe I don't. What would you say to your former self 3 or 4 months ago?
I would say definitely invest in yourself as soon as possible. Don't see it because the program is like $2,500. That's basically like a university semester if you're in state. The thing is that this course, it tells you exactly what you need to do just for like job hiring or job application. I feel like in university, a lot of times you either have to teach that yourself or you ask other people. But Amon, he already has like a proven track record of him doing himself and like the knowledge he gains, and then also the knowledge he gains from his students and his other peers. So he's just sharing that information with you, and he organizes everything in Google Docs. He organizes everything in videos. He gives you like he basically tells you like which pain points you need to tackle and hit. And as long as you hit the much like 90% of these, you just increase your odds. And I'm sure you'll land an internship or a job within the time frame that he expects.
Awesome. Great. Sounds good, man. Thanks for the feedback. And again, congratulations. Super proud of you. And I would love to see more wins. So as you go about this contract role, I'm sure you'll be still applying to other companies, interviewing, stuff like that. Would love to see your wins as they come along. But yeah, great result, man. And super proud of you.
Thank you. Couldn't have done without you as well.
Yeah, great to hear. All right, Thomas, I will talk to you later. Thanks for the feedback and review. And best of luck again with your new job. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Mom.